In today's video, we're going to be discussing a $181 billion market that is completely taking over the e-commerce space. And we're going to dissect this market by going into a few different stores on Shopify that are absolutely crushing it to see exactly how they're doing it, as well as some of the key marketing things that we can learn from them. But not just that, I'm also going to show you one of the leanest ways to start a Shopify store in a category like this. And we're going to explore a ton of data today. So it's not just going to be opinion based, it's actually going to be based on data and real demand. So let's dive right in. The store that we're talking about today is called Lucky Honey. Now, Lucky Honey is a store that sells Pilates, socks, and activewear. Now, Pilates socks is the trend specifically that I want to talk about today. However, the overall market that we're talking about is the Pilates market. Now, the Pilates market is literally at $181 billion and expected to grow to over $400 billion in the next decade, which is absolutely insane to me. What a crazy amount of growth. And you've probably seen it in your local areas, right? There's Pilates studios popping up. There's people making a ton of content around Pilates. It's just been completely taking over the world. Now, the Pilates socks trend is in particular a really interesting trend that is completely taking off in the e-commerce space. And there's a variety of brands that sell Pilates socks, but there's really no one brand that is particularly distinguished around these products, right? Which presents a huge opportunity. So what we're going to do is we're going to dissect this specific brand, Lucky Honey, because their traffic distribution looks extremely promising. As you see, these guys are up only. I got a couple other brands here that are up only as well. There's another one that has more traffic than both of them. It's called Features. Where is it? I got too many tabs open here, right here. But they're a little bit more stagnant. So I like to look at brands that are just completely booming, right? Completely popping off. And these are the brands that I like to invest into as well. Now, the way that we're going to source these products is actually through a new platform that, in my opinion, is changing the game. It's called Team Drop, and I've never seen anybody talk about this. So this is some secret alpha right here on my channel. Make sure you subscribe and follow for more wherever you're watching this. But what this allows you to do, and by the way, it's free, so that's pretty crazy, is it allows you to source and drop ship products from Taobao and 1688, which if you don't know, are basically like China's Amazon. So what you can do here is source products in those markets. So what I've done here, for example, right, is I've looked up Pilates socks. And what I can see is, first of all, a ton of different Pilates related products, including shoes even that I've never seen before. So this is a super untapped method of sourcing products. And then what you can do is just simply click source on those products. And I've actually already done this with a few different products to ensure that this is a really viable strategy. And it is. As you see, we can source really, really unique looking products for about 76 cents. So Team Drop is the place that you can do that, and it's absolutely free. It syncs to your store, and you can really do whatever you want. They're just an entire sourcing platform. So what we can do then is take a look specifically at Lucky Honey, because as I mentioned, they are the ones that are getting the most traffic, or at least the most growth in their traffic. And first thing we can see is that this is primarily being driven by the US, right? So they're getting most of this traffic from the United States, which is no surprise there. The US is kind of the leading place where some of these trends begin. And again, the demand for this trend is absolutely crazy at a global level, but specifically, of course, like I mentioned, the US has just the most buying power out there, right? It's kind of the biggest market. So one cool thing about this niche, in my opinion, is that not only can you sell socks, right, but you can sell other activewear. So it's almost like a way to penetrate the activewear market, which is also extremely large, like, multiple hundreds of billions of dollars large, right? And the other thing is that because of that, your LTV is going to be really good. So the lifetime value of your customer is going to be very high. Now, of course, some people may think, well, if you drop ship your products, then your LTV is not going to be very high because people are not going to be super happy. But how you can combat that is by selling really unique products that people can't get anywhere else. And that's where I think Team Drop can be extremely beneficial for you because, again, you can directly source from 1688 and Taobao, which a lot of people don't even know what that is. Like, you may have never heard of those platforms before unless you're deep in the e-commerce trenches. But if we look up Pilates socks, as I did before, we can find a variety of products that are super interesting and even just different product ideas. But these are the ones that I found earlier, these yoga socks. So over there, they call them yoga socks as well. But Pilates is a better search term right now, a better keyword to use. Now, let's actually dive into some of their landing pages here super quick because it's pretty replicable, which I love to see. So this is the Daisy Grip Sock. This is kind of one of their best sellers, and it has not the best reviews, it seems, but people are still buying like crazy just simply because of the demand behind this trend, right? So do not buy from this company, never received the package, never heard back. So as you see, some companies are actually not even doing the best. This company's not doing the best in terms of serving their customers. There's a lot that they can do to fix that, such as adding Smart Reply. It's another really great software that I've been talking about a lot lately. I'm a part of the team here, so I am biased, but Smart Reply can outsource your entire customer service on social media 24/7 and even your email for literally like 1/100th of the price that you would pay for a full customer service team. So insane what we're getting to see these days with AI in the e-commerce space. But as you see, they have a very, very simple product page. Like, it's not complicated at all. It's literally just, a description, some features, and then some customer support stuff here. But they could be doing so much better in this. They could be making it so much more elaborate and beautiful and explaining the product and why they're the best solution even better. Like, they're not doing that at all. So if we take a look at their ads as well, we can see that they're also not running the best ads. I mean, they have some pretty good ads. These are not bad, right? These are good statics, and they have a good offer. It's the buy three, get the fourth one free. And I like their terminology, actually. If you look, I mean, you probably can't see it, but it says buy three, get the fourth on us, which I like that terminology. I think that's just a little bit more unique. Instead of saying buy three, get one free, say buy three, get the fourth on us. It's just a subtle way to stand out with your brand. And the reason I'm noting these down is obviously to provide you as much value and ideas as possible for you to start or grow your e-commerce brand or whatever brand you have, but also for myself, right? Because I'm constantly trying to invest more, helping clients and building brands too. So I want to note these things down for myself as much as possible. So as much as I make these videos for you guys, I also make them for myself, really, because this reinforces my learning. Every single time I make one of these videos, I feel like I grow a little bit, and my brain just gets more advanced when it comes to these sorts of things. So I think on their marketing side, they could be doing so much better too. So that's what's crazy, right? In my opinion, this brand is not doing things the best that they could be, yet they're still popping off. And that is the power of picking the right market, right? People oftentimes sell products that just nobody cares about. And unfortunately, that can be very detrimental because, of course, hard work is one of the recipes for success, but it's also you're gonna work very hard on the wrong opportunity sometimes, and you're gonna get just worse results, even if you have the best team in the world, right? Whereas on the other hand, somebody may have a pretty mediocre team, right? But it's just an incredible opportunity in market and completely blow their results out of the water, right? They're just gonna beat you because they're in a better market. It really is that simple. It's kind of one of the unfortunate truths of business that I've learned over several years. And if you talk to some of the most successful startup founders out there too, they'll probably agree with this. Market is the thing that just matters the most. And you could see that as an unfortunate reality, but to be honest, I see it as a good thing because it tells you that if you just look at data and research and like do some deep research, right, you have a higher likelihood of success. So you can control your destiny a little bit more based on just how much research you do, which is pretty cool. Now, I do want to show you some of the other ones, right? Some of the other brands here, they're selling some of these grippy socks. So I actually do want to see if we can find grippy socks specifically on here. So yes, we can find compression socks. I mean, there's like an unbelievable amount of products on here. So these are grippy socks. I guess if we browse different categories, we can maybe see if we can find some. So women's clothing, let's look at women specifically. There's so much stuff here. It's pretty crazy. I spent like so many hours actually just browsing this and getting a ton of product ideas and sourcing them. So that's the cool thing. It's like once you find something you like, let's say you wanted to sell these cat paw socks. These are actually pretty cool. I mean, yeah, you're not likely to build $100 million business off of this, but some of you guys are not necessarily looking for that. You're looking for just very unique products that you actually really like that can build you, a 10 to 100K a month business. There's nothing wrong with that completely. So, if that's you, don't worry about it. Just still, try to find categories that are trending and that have demand behind them. But as you see here, this is what's cool, right? Is we can ship between 6 to 12 days with UniExpress directly. So for socks like this, it's such a small product that the shipping fee is going to be $5. The sourcing fee is going to be 60 cents. So in total, we can sell this product for $6. Insane, right? Like that's super cool. And then what you can do is put it on your store for like $15, let's say, or $18 since it's unique, and then charge shipping if you wanted to. So that's just one example, right? Now, I do want to show you as well some of the, so I was going to show you here another one of these brands that I found. Let me see this one. So Point Studio, these are the guys that are actually dominating the search results the most. So if you look up Pilates socks, and that's one good way to use some of these trending demand keywords is just to run Google ads to them. I think that's a pretty undervalued strategy. To be honest, these days, it's kind of like an OG strategy that people used to use. But I think right now with TikTok and Callow Data and all these different platforms, people forget that Google exists, right, as an advertising platform, despite it being one of the strongest ones, actually. Especially at the agency that I own, Ecommerce, I'm seeing that all the time in the data between a variety of our clients is that the best results often come from Google, actually. So whenever we run Google ads for clients, it usually outperforms everything else, which is pretty interesting to say the least. But it's, I don't know, usually we do find that it doesn't scale as well right away. It actually takes a long time to scale Google progressively, at least in our experience and with the way that we run things. Of course, I've seen people on Twitter just scaling Google like crazy, but personally, I've never seen those kinds of results across all the data that we've gathered. Doesn't mean it's impossible though. But yeah, these guys are dominating the search results, Point Studio. So let's actually see exactly what they're doing. Their traffic distribution is not as impressive. So there's is only about 14,000 monthly visitors right now. And again, this is not entirely accurate. There's no way to like pinpoint it at 100% accuracy, but it gives us a good idea of how many, how a store is doing in general. But they are on the rise, which is why I wanted to point it out. Point Studio pointed out, haha. I'm funny. But anyways, I think it's worthwhile to look at stores that are on the come up, for lack of better words. So let me show you here. I have so many tabs open. You can probably relate to that. But yeah, they have a ton of different variants, which is super cool. I really love to see that. I think with this niche selling socks, having more variety probably is a good thing because it's going to increase your LTV. If somebody really likes these socks, and that's one of the things about the socks game that's kind of underrated, I think, and I never really thought about it until making this video, is, I mean, think about how many pairs of socks you own and also how many pairs you cycle through, right? Like, I hate to say it, but I have a lot of holes in a lot of socks, so I constantly need to cycle in new pairs. And it's also a great gift, right? It's great to receive socks. It's kind of like a funny meme, but in reality, it's very useful to get socks as a gift because, again, you just cycle through so many of them. And just so you know, like $18 is a pretty common price point for these. So as I mentioned with something like this, right, this isn't exactly the trend, but I'm just using it as an example. $6 cost shipped directly from, your supplier in China, that's not bad at all, actually, because you can charge $18, which is a 3x markup, and you could charge shipping as well. So definitely check out Team Drop. I think it's still super untapped And I've always wanted to find a solution to Taobao because I've used Taobao before to just browse new product ideas, especially untapped products in trending categories, like products that no one's ever seen. And this literally just solved that. So super cool. Shout out to the Team Drop team. Um, Let me find this tab again. I'm so sorry, but here it is. So yeah, Point Studio. Let's take a look at some of their other products. So they are kind of what I was saying before. They sell socks, but they're also going more into now this athletic wear, active wear niche. Although it does seem like they just primarily sell socks, which is really cool. I think it's such a good product category, and they seem to be sold out of like everything, which goes to show just how much demand there is in this particular market and how strong it really is. And personally, I don't know. I mean, I don't do Pilates, so maybe, ladies, if any of you are watching this and you know more about this, please let me know in the comments. But I just don't really know of a particular brand that sells Pilates socks. Of course, now I do, but there's not really like a brand awareness for Pilates socks. So that's also what makes it such a great market, because you can create a brand new brand and simply stand out through, your product pricing, maybe your product, designs, or sometimes even just your marketing, right? Because as I just showed you, that Lucky Honey brand is not doing the best marketing. So right away, you could do things better than them just by having better marketing. So let's see what Point Studio is doing in terms of marketing. Definitely curious to see their meta ads. So yeah, they're only running 6 different meta ad results. Like, these brands just don't understand how powerful meta can be. And now, of course, their product price is super low. So I totally get that. But you can make it work with meta. Trust me. Like, we've ran ads at the agency for brands with very cheap products, and it's possible. Are you going to be the most profitable? Probably not, but you can acquire a lot of customers, and you actually can build bundles and just different customer flows and funnels with, for example, post-purchase upsells and in-cart upsells to get people to spend more money so that you can be profitable in the front end. Another thing I would mention for this brand or for this niche is testing out TikTok ads. A lot of brands sleep on TikTok ads, and I think it's because people think it's a gimmick still. Believe it or not, a lot of people still don't believe in how powerful TikTok is, despite TikTok literally making more money than Meta in a single quarter last quarter. That's like first time in history that's happened, right? And TikTok is a relatively young brand or a company. So just imagine where things are going to be, a year from now. It's only continuing to grow. So please do not sleep on TikTok. It's such a great advertising platform. So yeah, this is another great brand, Point Studio. They're dominating Google, so that's probably why they're not doing so much meta, because they're doing very well on Google. But at the same time, they can definitely be pushing this to the next level. I mean, these are beautiful ads. They look really great, but, you want to see this at like probably 10 times this to really be competitive on meta and really be driving meaningful results. So yeah, that's pretty much about it. I wanted to showcase this trend while showcasing this new sourcing feature. You guys really seem to like it when I talk about sourcing, especially on the last Alibaba video. So I'm going to continue to do that. I'm going to continue to give you ideas on sourcing so that you can launch your business in a lean way. You could, of course, invest in inventory through Alibaba's new sourcing features, or even through TeamDrop. You can source all of these products and even order inventory to their sourcing facilities, which is pretty cool. But again, I'm a big believer in testing ideas relatively quickly and kind of letting the market tell you whether or not your idea is viable. So I like to test things as lean as possible, and that's how we recommend people to test things at ShopeeLab in the accelerator. So this right here, this is ShopeeLab, ShopeeLab.ai. It's a software for research and also just an overall toolkit for Shopify brand owners. But we also have an accelerator where we have courses. We do weekly calls. We give you one-on-one support with our entire agency team. So that includes our Google team, our Meta team, TikTok team, even our TikTok shop team. So it's really great value. I suggest you check it out if you're a brand owner or an aspiring brand owner. But other than that, check out TeamDrop. I'll leave a link for them in the description so that you can find them. And let me know what you think about this market overall. If you know more about it than I do, I would love for you to enlighten me. but I think we gave it a pretty good cover, pretty good breakdown in this video. So without further ado, that's pretty much it. I'll see you on the next video. Peace.